And they've connected to the wrong sports complexes and things where water said no.
So
and
you're oriented now?
do it anyway.
Kind of. I mean, I was unexpected.
Because this is the end.
Last week, so,
Okay.
yeah, my mom
Marshall,
passed away.
that's
Oh, I'm
Stacy.
sorry to hear that.
Yeah.
Didn't know that. Oh,
Mhm.
that sucks.
Yeah, that's too
Just
bad.
kind of like,
That's what you got
so
going
now
on.
today I'm like, okay, let's get back in the swing.
Sorry.
Because I'll say, when they
Thanks, yeah.
do those,
There, they wanted
There.
to.
Yeah, so it's last few years, so.
Yep.
Their
And they
first.
do.
They
They're-
do.
Yeah.
So was it unexpected?
No,
My,
No.
my mother wasn't either, but still a study.
yeah. She's in a lot of pain for a
We need to
while,
log
so.
back. Oh,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 4:01. I'll call the meeting to order. First item is the Pledge of Allegiance.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Sarah, can you read our mission statement?
The mission of the Marshall Public School District is to educate, support, and prepare all learners for success.
Thank you. Our next item is approval of the agenda. I have a motion.
Motion.
Second?
Motion by Jeff and seconded by Sarah Brink to approve the agenda. Just a reminder, before I adjourn the meeting, we'll be going out to tour the new ALC facility. So is there any changes or additions? Not, I'll call for the
You
vote.
need it, Ben? Go ahead. If you need it, you can use mine. Go ahead.
You vote, Bill.
Okay, pay attention.
He's having too much fun down there.
All right, the agenda is approved.
You could have poked me.
Our next item is a public forum. Anybody from the public want to approach the board? Seeing no one, we'll move on to our presentation. One district, many voices. Welcome, Beth.
All right, super. So I'm excited to be back and give you an update from our back to school workshop week last week, and then looking into our professional development a little bit more for this school year. So yes, like we mentioned, the theme of our school year is one district, many voices, and we talked last time I was here on what that means for Marshall Public Schools. And during our workshop week last week on Wednesday, during our district-wide day, we started the day with the Pillsbury House Theater and their Breaking Ice production. I know there were a few of you that were able to attend it as well, which was great. They did, the first hour was their performance covering topics, thinking about cultural diversity, things that we might see in the workplace, that type of thing. And then after that, they had moderated discussion with our staff, an open discussion, and then had each of us write where I'm from, and that's what their presentation, or I am from, yes, I am from. Their presentation ended with as well, where they were from, and really got us all thinking, where am I as a person from, and how can my experiences, how can that help where I'm from, help my students in my classroom? So really had some great discussions around it. After that couple of hours, then we had our breakout sessions, one of them being multilingual learners from our high school. We had, I believe it was 6 current high school students, along with one of our new parent-student connectors, who is also a Marshall graduate, share their experiences. What it's like being a student at Marshall Public Schools, knowing zero to very little English, how far they have come. One of our students was a newcomer the middle of last year, and for him to be so brave to be up there in front of hundreds of people sharing his experience was pretty neat to see. Very powerful to hear from our kids. So it's always we always get great feedback on that presentation, so we wanted all of our staff to have the opportunity to hear from our kids. And so that was a very nice breakout session. And then Don't Press Your Luck, Christy Hastings joined us and staff learned how not to press their luck in public education. It was a kind of a game show type presentation, but very well done, and staff learned some very important things around that topic as well. Our community partners panel, we had 4 different people join us and just share with us what services they provide for our families and our students, along with if teachers have questions, who they can reach out to, just support how we can help all of the many different voices and be a support to those voices in our district. And then our American Indian presentation, we had 2 people from our American Indian community panel or group and join us and share things around American Indian, around our students in our schools, and specifically Minnesota American Indians as well. So looking at all of those different areas, and it's thinking about our cultural competency piece, also of teacher relicensure. The teachers were able to learn many different things that also works right along with their relicensure for teacher relicensure. So it was a great day. It was a different day than we've had in the past. It really got people thinking about things in a different way. So now the principals will, of course, take that theme, the One District, Many Voices, back to their buildings and continue implementing it and discussing it as the year continues. So with that, let's look back. Let's take a step back to last year, the 23-24 school year, thinking about our professional development. The themes and things we discussed and had professional development around was, of course, the science of reading. That was primarily at our elementary level. It will continue with that this year, and I'll talk about it here in just a little bit, but also going into our middle and high school levels as well. Our effective PLC processes. We spent a lot of time last year working with Michael Maffoni and how to refine our PLCs. We've had PLCs for many, many years, but how can we refine them and make them even better to positively impact student achievement? And of course, BAR framework, we've had that at the high school for a few years now, and we're just starting to learn more last year at Southview and middle school with going with implementation this school year. And then, of course, refining the MTSS process, always continue to focus on that, but we had a big focus on it last year. And then our CTE and pathways expansion, continuing to expand it at the middle and high school level as well. So thinking about all of that last year, then as we all know, our data was publicly released last week. Last week? When was it? Yeah, Thursday of last week. So taking a look now, this is district-wide. In the past, I know we've broken it down specifically by grade level, but I wanted just to share our district, the overview of how our students did. So you can see this is the MCA reading data. Starting in 3rd grade is when our students take the MCA reading test, all MCA tests, but MCA reading in particular. You can see where the state of Minnesota was, and then each of our where we fell in each of those categories as a whole as Marshall Public Schools. So you can see we are behind in some of the areas in reading, but with the work, I'm confident with the work that we will be doing this year with our OLA training and the continuing focus on the science of reading, we've already started to see positive results at the younger levels, and it will just continue to work its way up, and we will be seeing, I'm confident to say we will be seeing even more positive results in the years to come with all the work we're doing in the area of reading. Here's our math data. Again, you can see math also begins in 3rd grade. You can see the state as compared to our district. We were very happy with these results as a whole. We are above in almost every single one of the different categories, which is exciting to see. That's a true testament to the hard work that's being done in all grade levels. The same with science. Science, we are ahead in every single one of the categories. So this is an exciting celebration for us to see. Science is in 5th grade, 8th grade, and then usually 10th grade is when they finish biology. Around 10th grade is when they take the science one in the high school. So science is only done 3 times throughout their educational career, where math and reading are every year. But you can see our science results, again, above the state and all of the different areas or categories, which is exciting for us to see as well. As you know, all of our students also take the NWEA assessment. So it's a national normed assessment where the MCA is just the state of Minnesota. So these were our proficiency scores for our students that are at the norm RIT, or where they should be per NWEA, their scores. So you can see where our actual was the year before, then what our goal was. Our goal is always 3 percentage points higher, and then what our actual was as well for last year. So you can see it both for reading and for math. Another area we look at NWEA is the students take it at the beginning of the year, then NWEA calculates what they should score, what their growth should be at the end of the year. So our goal is always 70% of our students will meet their growth. And you can see we did very well in both reading and math last year for NWEA. We had 83% in math meet their growth, students district-wide, and then in reading it was 77%. So exciting scores there of students meeting their growth. And the last big assessment that our students take, this one is specific for our multilingual learners. It's the Access Assessment. We always say it's in the spring, but it's actually like a winter assessment that the students take. So these are any students that have been identified as a multilingual learner and receive EL services district-wide, so kindergarten through 12th grade. And then what the state looks at is they look at two different things. They look at, are students making progress towards their target, and are they meeting the target? So progress towards the target is kind of similar to NWEA, the growth they should make. How it is looked at, though, is they will see, when did the student come to the United States? When was their first experience or first time enrolling in a Minnesota district? Then from there, they'll take, on average, students usually take approximately 5 to 7 years to meet proficiency. So depending on their age and depending on what their score was the year before, then WIDA will come, or not WIDA, but the Minnesota Department of Education will come up with, here's where they should score. So in 5 years, they will have met exit criteria on the Access Assessment. So you can see the progress towards the target. You can see where the state was, as well as we're above the state of our kids making progress towards their end goal. And of course, our goal is always for them to meet proficiency and exit out of the EL program. So our multilingual learners are doing really well. And I always like to look at this because this is their test. This is the test that is assessing how well are they learning the English language, and specifically the academic language of English. And then you can see the percentage of kids that actually met their target. So we are above the state in that area as well. So that's always fun to see with our Access Assessment, that our kids are doing well. And again, this is a testament not only to our EL staff, but all staff, because all of our staff members work with all of our students and our multilingual learners. So doing well in that area as well. So those were our results from last year. Now looking into this year, what are we going to do? Our READ-ACT training, and I'll talk about that a little bit more as well. OLA training starts. We chose the OLA training because, so the state of Minnesota said you could choose you have a choice between 3 trainings. We decided to go with OLA because of the fact that there is a new piece. It's brand new to OLA yep.
Is that the training we had already done with before it was approved?
Nope. This one is different. Yep.
We have to bring those people back through this training?
Yes, so everyone will go through it. So some of our staff members went through letters training. That might be what you're thinking of. That is one of the approved trainings.
It is?
It is, yep.
Okay.
Letters is very intensive, and it's very intensive 2 years. OLA training is very similar. OLA training takes not even a year, but about a school year to complete. We've mapped it out for our teachers.
People who went through letters also have to go through OLA now?
Right, yes, yep. Going through the OLA training as well.
So they were successful.
Yes. And the reason we're having staff do that is so all of our staff is getting the exact same information, same language is exactly right. Yep, and we're learning together, and you'll see how we're spending our PLC times completing the training as well.
Gotcha.
Yeah, and with the OLA, there's this very specific component or module that is for multilingual learners. None of the other 3 included that piece of it, so that is why, because we have many multilingual learners in our district. That's why we decided to choose Ola, is
I
because
just
of that.
interject with that.
Yeah, go ahead.
And Bill, I just want to share that with people that did letters training, they wouldn't, by state isn't requiring them to do this other training. We talked with them about what's the best way to move forward with everyone else doing it. They've said, we want to do the same training others are doing as well. So there'll be our leaders going through this.
Well, that'd be
The
an
number of people that did that,
advantage,
but- right, right. But that was an internal decision that they're going to go forward with that.
Correct, yep.
We have 33 different language. Samantha, thank you for putting all that data and statistics in the paper. I've had a lot of questions on that, but thank you.
So then the other one, cultural competency, we've talked about that, but we had a big focus during our workshop week. We'll continue with that. I'm hoping to do at our February PD day, a poverty simulation with our staff. It can be very, very powerful for our staff to go through that. So we'll continue with that as the year, with our cultural competency as the year progresses. Effective PLCs, we did a ton of work last year. We don't want that to go by the wayside, so we're going to continue with that this year. And continuing to refine MTSS in the BAR framework or processes, especially because BAR is new here as well at the middle school and at Southview. And then, of course, continuing to focus on CTE and pathways.
I have one question or
Yeah.
favor to ask. I know this goes on the air and you probably pick it up too, Samantha, but not all the people know what the acronyms mean.
Yeah,
Oh.
I had the same
Yeah,
question.
so
Val.
PLCs, here we go, right here.
Oh, but MTSS and.
Oh, sure.
Go back to the previous
Yeah, I'll go back.
slide, Beth, and maybe
Absolutely.
just Give
Yep.
us all the words.
You know, in the future, if it's on our website as well, to explain.
Sure.
To write down, what do they mean? What do the acronyms actually mean?
Yep.
To have a list, but I stopped keeping it when I got to 200.
So OLA, now you're really testing me. I believe it's Online Language and Literacy Academy is what OLA stands for. PLCs, Professional Learning Communities. MTSS, Multi-Tiered Systems of Support. And BAR, Building Assets, Reducing Risks. Man, you're really testing me. CTE, Career and Technical Education is CTE. Yep.
Thank you.
And READACT, I'm not sure what READACT is off the top of my head. Do you know, Jeremy? That one I don't know.
It's all caps, it stands for something.
Yeah, stands for something.
But can we do that on our website, Jeremy?
Yeah, yeah,
Just spell out the acronyms.
absolutely.
Thank you.
Yes, so with professional learning communities or PLCs,
Sorry to make you.
yeah, our PLCs are what meet every Wednesday during early outs. Part of PLCs is job embedded professional development. So when we talked about READACT training, phase 1 this year, phase 2 next year, giving and making sure our staff has ample time to complete that because it is additional work. It's fantastic work. It'll be a great training, but it is additional work. So we have decided to use our PLC time for those staff members that are involved in phase 1 and those involved in phase 2 next year.
That makes sense.
Yeah, use their PLC time to complete the READACT training, as well as then they also will have a meeting with their instructional coach to continue to discuss data because we don't want that to go by the wayside either. So a lot of time, normally that would be done during the Wednesday PLC or early out time, but now they'll be doing it at a different time with their instructional coach at their building. And of course, collaborating with colleagues to improve practice and increase student learning, that of course is always our main goal. So like I mentioned, data and collaboration. So how do PLCs work for Marshall Public Schools? We have our strategy implementation guide, or our SIG, with our anchor statements. Those are what we worked on all last year with the help of Michael Maffoni. And continuing to review those and refine them and make sure we're always going back and keeping a focus in our PLCs. And Learning by Doing is the book written by Michael Maffoni. No, that's not written by Michael Maffoni. He wrote the other book that we read by the DeFores, Learning by Doing, and that is what we ground our work in for PLCs.
You made me nervous for a second.
I know, I was like, whoo! Learning by Doing, the DeFores. I do know that. All right, so job embedded professional development. READACT phase 1 begins this school year, beginning right now. This is how it is written with the READACT or state law. It's changed several times, but as of right now, this is how it reads, so we're moving forward. All pre-K classroom teachers have to go through READACT. OLA is designed and is made for K through 5 teachers. K through fifth grade, I should say, kindergarten through fifth grade teachers. Our pre-K teachers will go, the only option for them is early childhood letters. So it's a part of letters, it's a very small portion of the entire letters training, they have to do that. So we have, I believe it's 13 people that will be enrolled or are enrolled in the early childhood letters for pre-K. K-3 educators, including EL, our EL at the elementary levels, and you can see at the bottom there, you can include fourth and fifth grade depending on the structure of your building. So because we have fourth grade at Southview, we have included our fourth grade staff as well to start the training. We decided not to do fifth grade because they're obviously here at the middle school and they'll be in phase 2 next year. K-12 reading interventions. So this is a little bit different. It's K-12. All of our reading interventionists are part of the OLA training. K-12 SPED are part of the OLA training as well. And me, the curriculum director. So there are quite a few of us. I believe it's 98 going through OLA training as well as the 13 doing the early childhood letters starting this year. READ Act Phase 2 starts next school year. You can see how it's all laid out. It's grade 4 through 12 is what the law reads. We will have 5 through 12 go through it. As of right now, the state is not sure what training that will be, so we're waiting for more guidance on that. I was on a call last week and they said in September. So hopefully soon we will know what that guidance will look like. But we do know that the people listed on the right-hand side here will be in Phase 2 next year when we have more guidance from the state.
What is the graduation incentives program? Is grade K through age 21 teachers who work with students who qualify for graduation incentives program? Are you talking special ed here?
It's the criteria like for at-risk students like attend our ALC.
Who attend our ALC? Okay, thank you.
And READ stands for Reading to Ensure Academic Development.
There you go.
Thank you. I would never have came up with that one.
All about reading.
Yeah, yeah.
How does this program tie into Darcy Love's program that she started?
The science of reading.
The science of reading. This is based and grounded on the science of reading or in the science of reading. Same thing, yeah.
Is this going to show improvement? Because 24 years ago when I got on the board, we were at a higher percentage of people that were literate than what we are now. And I know the demographics have changed tremendously, but 42.9, we're spending all this money on another new program, but are we really teaching our kids how to read?
So
Are we teaching our teachers how to teach?
That's exactly, I was just going to say that. This isn't a program, and that's a lot of people think, oh, this is a new curricular program. No, it's teaching our teachers how to teach reading and understand how the brain learns to read.
Say that's a big part of it, Jeff.
Yep.
It's thinking about how students learn how to read and that phonics space behind that. It's really focused on that, so our teachers understand how that works when they're working with kids. And the assessments we're giving are driven specifically to what is this kid struggling with, so we can target interventions to that need, so.
And we do have plenty of interventions there for the students, and we should show improvements.
We should show improvements to that, and this is looking at those interventions we have, and what, it's not, like Beth said, it's not really a program, it's how do we use that intervention time to best meet the needs of each individual kid.
Because I know a few years back, we were one of the lowest in the area for math, and we put a lot of emphasis on our math programs and teaching math, and now we're above. I just want to make sure we're using enough of our resources to bring these kids up, because it is frustrating as a board member to see us keep on going down.
Yeah. The initial data that we've seen at Parkside, where they've been implementing science of reading, is showing improvement. It's encouraging to see what's happening there.
Okay, thank you.
Our students that are graduating college, coming out of college, is this similar to what we're being taught? Is that kind of the?
Good question.
It's a great question.
Yeah, I would say not yet.
Yeah, I don't think so.
We do work very closely with SMSU and have lots of conversations with them. They're frustrated at their level too because they're not seeing the support necessarily from MDE quite yet. MDE says it's coming. We'll be getting to higher ed, and we're saying higher ed needs it now because those are the people that are with it that we are recruiting and hiring. So
ultimately, our teachers
Basically, it's been my experience that the education department at SMSU learns from our practice. We put best practice in place through our training that they don't necessarily have those resources at the college to do.
and with this being a state mandate, our teachers are going to have to come to us trained in this and those that aren't trained will be training once they get here. So this year when we're doing everybody, it's one thing, but then in the future, it's taking anyone we're hiring from a different state or fresh out of college. So I think the universities are going to have to be teaching this as well. At least the Minnesota schools will be teaching this, but
Well, and I know at SMSU, several professors went through the letters training when the group of us did it, however many years ago it was now. And I know some of them would like to be part of the OLA training just because they know that's what we're going to be using or going through the training here. And they have started to implement it in their different literacy classes in that regard, so that's good too.
Partnership.
Yeah, yep, great partnership
been
with
great to work
SMSU,
with.
yeah. Oh, oops, I went too far. That's the end. I thought I had one more slide, but that's the end. What other questions do you have?
I just have a comment.
Yeah,
Beth, you do an excellent job, and you have a refreshing approach to the challenges in front of us, because I look at what we're asking our staff to do on top of their regular teaching day, and you help them do it positively, and I appreciate that.
yeah, thank you. It's going to be, it really is going to be a great training. I'm going through it myself. I say that's the hard part because I haven't been through the training, so I keep telling we're walking through this together. We'll get through it together, and it will be really good training, just so the teachers have the knowledge of how to teach reading to our students.
Beth really hit it there. It's not just new to us and new to Beth. This is new to the state. So even everybody's learning as we go through it this time. So
I know that at professional development, Jeremy, you mentioned that we're in the younger grades are going to stop using the NWEA. So how will that data look different then in the coming years?
Yeah,
We're
good
not looking
question.
at that.
So I should have included a DIBELS slide. So DIBELS is what we use kindergarten through fourth grade, dynamic indicators of basic early literacy skills, I believe, is DIBELS. Yep. So it's assessment, and it builds, kindergarten starts with letter naming, letter sounds, and the skills just continue building. By the time they're in second through fourth grade, then they're reading a passage for a minute, so the skills are appropriate to the grade level. We will use those results to be able to use our district-wide results as well, because you can also see here's where they were in the fall, here's how many they had in the fall, here's where they should be in the spring, that type of thing. We also have benchmarks. DIBELS is a nationally normed assessment, very similar to NWEA, so there are national norms we can look at and compare us or our students, or here's where they should be. They should have this many letter sounds in the fall, this many in the winter, this many in the spring.
that's where DIBELS is different. The NWA was giving us different data that we weren't using any longer to drive instruction or intervention.
At our
Because
earliest levels,
With our
yeah.
earliest levels, right.
Yeah.
Because at Parkside in particular, but really Southview too, the focus is those foundational skills. And then the measure that we're using to measure success was NWA, and we're measuring something a little different. So DIBELS is what we've been using for the last couple of years. To measure how our kids are doing. It's what we're using really to drive instruction intervention. So the conversation this summer was, why are we still basing our goals off NWA when what we're doing is based off of DIBELS?
So we're not doing NWEA at 2 through 4 anymore?
No, we are.
Just
yep.
at Parkside, because Southview, we're starting to do other work as well. The foundational skills is really until second grade. And with Southview having more, we weren't ready to stop NWA there. I won't say that we're not going to make some changes at Southview, but we weren't ready to do that yet.
Are we still doing the mid-year NWEA?
Yes.
So 3 times a year, and DIBELS is 3 times a year
Yep.
as well.
Yeah, good.
Yep.
Yeah, I think just
And
in
the
general.
advantage to those 2 tests is they help drive instruction.
Yeah,
MCAs do not.
sure.
MCAs measure how well we're meeting the state goals.
Yes. And I think my comment was going to be, I think this is happening in education. It happens in other fields as well, where our best practices lag behind research, right? So this is an
Exactly.
effort that
Exactly.
the state is pushing to get best practices in line with research, which
Absolutely.
is why, teachers who are trained aren't necessarily trained in this. We're sort of coming at it backwards, but it's all in the effort of using research-based practices, which I appreciate the time and care that we're all taking with that.
Yeah. And
What's
I haven't
been-
talked to
what's
one of
been
our
the
teachers who
response
says they
to-
don't feel this is positive. Our teachers are saying, this is good stuff. This is going to help our kids, and we're excited about it. It is a lot to what you're speaking to earlier.
People have gone through it.
That have done the letters training and the ones that are just, we talked to Parkside teachers, for example, they say, this is great. This is what we need to help our kids grow. But then
Well,
how do we make all the extra pieces happen in addition to everything already happening in the classroom? There is a
That's
lot
good
for
to hear.
teachers.
So they're basically saying it was worth all the effort because we're making a difference.
Absolutely. Even when I did the letter stream, like, I wish I would have had this 20 years ago, you know?
Yeah, well, we
So
didn't
it's-
have the research.
We didn't, you're right, yep. So it'll be great.
I've heard also it's very similar to how phonics was taught in the 60s and 70s when I was learning how to read. It's going back to that.
It is, yep. Mm-hmm. And having that strong phonics piece, foundational piece, and phonemic awareness. Yeah. That's exactly what it is, though. Yep. And we're seeing great results with Really Great Reading is the program we use at Parkside pre-K through second grade. So we use it at Southview for second grade as well. So
Plus
seeing really
middle
good
school
results.
as intervention.
As intervention, yes, correct.
It'll be interesting to see the data when it comes out on those half-year tests, the half-year evaluation for elementary. Can you bring that to us when it comes out?
Yeah, for sure. Yep. All right, that's all I have.
Thank you, Beth.
Beth.
Thank you, Beth.
Next item is the consent agenda
So move.
Second?
by Bill and seconded by Sarah Runcie to approve the consent agenda. I will call for the vote. And that is approved. Next item are board reports or updates. Anybody have anything to report? Hearing none. Next item is second review of policies 514 to 521. Any questions or concerns on these? We'll approve these at the next meeting. Next item is an action item, approval of policy 522, the Title IX changes. I'll need a motion.
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Sarah Runcie and seconded by Sarah Brink to approve policy 522. Any further discussion? If not, I will call for the vote. That is approved. Our next item, we will go out to SMSU to tour the ALC.